Okay. So today's topic. This is gonna be a bit of a broader one, but um,
Detention members, we are currently closed. We are currently closed.
it's gonna be more broad because there's a lot of things that I want to talk about when it comes to this. Um, both because it is a larger topic and because um, I do kind of experience this too. I can relate to this in some way. So the topic we're going to talk about is frustration with yourself. In particular, frustration in yourself for not being where you think you should be. And I think I want to start this conversation off by a quote I heard. And pretty much the quote is people think that, they see others, or people see others and they think that's where they should be instead of thinking about where they are now and acknowledging that where they should be is where they are currently. So, like, pretty much accepting that your walk and your progress is your own. And comparing it to someone else is a disservice to not only your progress, but it's almost you're, you're, what's it called? Minimizing the work that you've put in. And I more wanted to talk about um, the frustration aspect. So we'll do a couple sets, and then we'll start talking about it because there's a bunch of stuff I want to get into here. So my hand hurts. Why is that so swollen? Let's do our normal weight then. That's clearly feeling heavy today. Dude. Okay. All right. Do an actual set this time. Okay. We'll probably do some 90s. And then we'll do our skull crushers. We'll do it off camera. One more off camera. Ah. Ow. I don't even know why this hurts still, bruh. stupid thing. Okay. One more off camera. Okay. Let us continue our topic. So, what was I saying earlier? Yeah, frustration. Something that's been kind of like been a reoccurring problem for me. Or, no. Okay, I know where I wanted to start. I think, okay, I think something that kind of pushes me in this direction of being frustrated with myself is my habit of setting expectations that I know are unreasonable. Maybe not unreasonable, but there's this quote that's like, if uh, it's called the curse of competence, pretty much, and if you're good at it's pretty much if you're good at something, success no longer becomes something that you celebrate, but something that is expected, and it becomes something that is, you know, not something that you deem as a big deal. And failure, or anything less than success, is considered failure, right? So you're pushing yourself into this mentality that it's kind of black and white, and there's no gray area in between, and it forces you to be very extreme on the things that you're, on the way you perceive yourself. And if you're anything like me, and you've put in some work and you've started accumulating some wins, you kind of not spiral but snowball into this. Okay, like, we're expected to win, we're expected to win, we're expected to win, and when you don't win, or at least in the way that you deem as worthwhile, it gets frustrating because you're expecting yourself, when you're holding yourself to a higher standard, and you cannot meet that standard. I think something we have to adopt, a mentality. I think a mentality we have to adopt as people that are trying to progress is, we cannot allow hatred towards where we are in our process to overcome the amount of time that we spend dwelling on the little wins that we have. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we can really get fixated on where we are in our progress. We look at other people and we say, okay, well, this person's ahead of me, this person's behind me. Where am I on that spectrum of progress? And if you don't like where you are on that spectrum, it gets kind of easy to kind of hate on yourself and to be like, okay, well, I should be better. No, we cannot allow ourselves to take that mentality, because when you do that, you discredit your work that you've put in up to this point. The work that you've put in up to this point is worthwhile. Just because you're not where you want to be yet doesn't mean that it's not, like, all the work previous is just completely worthless. If anything, you should value the work that you've put in up to this point more than the work that you put in when you're already at a successful point, because it's easy to put in work when you've made it already, because you've made it, right? There's no I guess, like, not motivation. There's less incentive for you to keep putting in that work, because you've already kind of reached the goal that you wanted, right? When you are not there yet is when your work really matters, is when your work is truly something that, is admirable, because there is no incentive other than winning. There is no incentive other than the goal. And I would argue that's when it's hardest to put in the work. Don't let negative thoughts and hatred towards where you are in your progress envelop or become an obsession. Not an obsession, but what's the way I want to put this? don't go down the rabbit hole of hatred and negative thoughts towards yourself simply because you're not where you want to be in your progress. The work that you've put in up to this point is more than worth it, especially when it comes to your progress and your improvement of yourself. All of that work that you've put in, whether you are at the point you want to be or not, is worth it, because progress is progress, regardless of whether you've made it or not. And I get that it's hard to kind of like look at it from an objective point, because these are our lives that we're living, right? These are, you could argue like, well, you're not in my situation. Well, no, I'm not. I know that I'm not. But I can relate to you in some way. And I hope that when you see me struggling with these things, that, you can take it with not a grain of salt, but you can take it and see that even the people that do look put together are struggling with certain things, right? And they are fighting the battles that you consider to be your own, right? The thing that you hold on to. So we're going to do, everything's feeling heavy today, so we'll honestly probably do like 1 or 2 sets of this, because this is our normal weight, so I don't even know if we're going to be able to do it, because we were struggling when we did skull crushers today. So my system could just be under stress. Or I don't know, I feel thin. That was a lot of spit. I feel thin. So we'll see. We'll move it up so you guys can see me. I'd really like the spotter today, but it's whatever. Nah. Yeah, nah. It's just not happening today. So we'll probably do one more thing. Alrighty. Hopefully, yeah, it's fine. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm someone that's like just like put together all the time. I talk about these things because like I want you guys to understand that like I talk about these things because these are things that I struggled with as well. And I want to not lead by example, but like I want you guys to understand that you're not alone in these problems. It is more than okay to not be all like put together all the time. Life has kind of a way of making sure that you understand that you're human and that you're going to make mistakes. But the things, the beautiful thing about life is the mistakes that you make aren't the things that define you. It's the things that, you choose to pursue and the actions you choose to take. I guess like mistakes are technically actions, but you can always rectify those mistakes. You can always be better. So the intentions you have and the direction you're going, I guess, would be more of a way to define who you are. And you know when you're going in the right direction. and when you're not. It's just a matter of honesty and accountability. So I'm with you guys in these struggles, man. I'm not at all put together. Don't have everything figured out. But I talk about these things because I want people to know that they have someone that's in their corner. I will always be someone that is looking to support the people around me, no matter what. Because it makes me so happy to see the people that are close to me, thriving. That is my favorite thing to see. Yeah. Okay, so let's do our warm up and then we'll do our sets. I feel like today's just gonna be more of like a form focused and pump kind of day than a PR kind of day. And that's okay. I was hoping for a PR today, but plans change, so not a big deal. Yeah, I just feel weak today. Yeah, that's it. That's the telltale sign. I'm just gonna go down to regular weight. Or not regular weight, but like one lower. Because this is ridiculous. Okay. Grab some water. Yeah, much better. Okay, One more off camera. Ow. Alrighty. Some rear delts and some biceps, and we're done. Okay. Just got this and some rear delts to do, and then we're done. Thank goodness. All right. Whew. One more off camera. Alrighty. Last exercise. Let me check things out. But I can tell my body's tired for sure. For sure. Goes like this. Okay, let's check things out. Let's just see. Alrighty, here's how we're looking today. At least the pump is good. If you did enjoy the content, please drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.